What's up, Razorback fans? Curtis Wilkerson here with Inside Arkansas and the Pod at the Palace, coming back to you with another episode of the Hoop Hogs Video Mailbag, where you ask me an Arkansas basketball-related question. Could be anything. The team, the coach, the schedule, recruiting, doesn't matter. It's related to Arkansas basketball. You ask, I answer in video format. We post one of these every single day at 8 a.m. on our Inside Arkansas YouTube page, and we've got a banger today. Senor Jim, his second question of the video mailbag series, he says, what's your honest opinion of Calipari's assistants compared to Musselman's? Buddy, you put me on the spot here because I do still have friendships with a lot of guys off of Musselman's staff. But look, I'll say this. There are some parallels that can't be ignored, right? I mean, both these guys hired their sons to assistant coaching positions for starters. Michael Musselman, Brad Calipari. Okay, that was actually part of the allure for Calipari to come to Arkansas, was the ability to do that. I don't think they were going to let him do it at Kentucky. Obviously, Brad was at Vanderbilt with Stackhouse last season. But I mean, just being transparent here, like neither one of these guys has won a Staff of the Year award recently. If we're being fair, both coaches have been accused, whether rightfully or wrongfully, of not having overly strong staffs and maybe having too many yes men surrounding them the last couple of years. I mean, it is what it is. That's true. Those are the allegations, right? And can they beat them? We'll see. I thought David Patrick was great. I thought Gus Arsenal was great when they were with Arkansas under Muss. Keith Smart obviously was the man, but I don't believe they got enough out of Keith Smart the last year or two that he was at Arkansas. Todd Lee was the guy who I saw doing the most actual coaching at practices outside of Muss at the ones that I attended last season. You know, like anyone who has worked for Muss, with Muss, will tell you that he's not an easy guy to work for. And he's not for everyone, but there is a method to his madness. The dude's built different, wired different. And when you have guys like that, sometimes it's better to have people who are used to that, people who can handle that, and people who jive with his type of personality. And I think that could also be true with Calipari too, because he is kind of his own brand. He's got the aura about him. He's the Hall of Fame head coach. But in fairness, like Big Blue Nation used to absolutely roast that coaching staff. And so we'll see. Like, I mean, I do think that it was maybe an L for Cal not to get Orlando Antigua to follow him from that staff last year. He's at Illinois now. I know John Welch, for example, got a ton of credit. He was kind of the OC for that Kentucky team last year that had a super high-powered offense. They played modern basketball for a change, and they weren't running floppy after floppy after floppy out there. He didn't follow Cal either. So does he go back to old reliable, or does he, you know, continue the trend with kind of the modern style of basketball that Kentucky played last year? One thing I'll say about him is offensively, they were a hell of a lot of fun to watch, that Kentucky team a season ago. I don't know. I kind of wish that Cal would have added, you know, a veteran head coach, like almost in that, like that Nick Saban coaching rehab vein, you know, the analyst kind of guy. And I guess he kind of did that. We'll talk about it in a minute. But Chin Coleman, Chuck Martin, those guys have been around the game a long, long time. When it comes to experience, they had plenty of it. When it comes to familiarity with Cal, the players that he brought over with him, all that stuff really matters when you're starting from scratch and looking to bring over continuity and lay the foundation, streamline things as quick as you possibly can. That way you can just get down to basketball. Having guys like that is super important. And I don't know enough about them, and I don't know them well enough yet to say they're home run assistants or they're just yes men or whatever. We'll find out. I think this will be an easier question to answer maybe, you know, at the end of the season. But I'm very happy that Ronnie Brewer's back in his role. I'm very happy that Riley Hall is back. I think he was the unsung hero of the staff for years under Eric Musselman, no doubt about it. But what I will say, and you can see the picture here, I do think getting Kenny Payne was massive. I talked about a veteran head coach. Well, Kenny Payne has that experience, and I get it. It did not work out at all. It was a disaster, his head coaching stop at Louisville. But this is a guy who has a lot of experience, and he was widely regarded as a top flight assistant coach before he got that gig at Louisville. And Kentucky's teams under Cal typically played just a lot better when he was there with him. Those two guys have a great working relationship. And even when things don't go well at a head coaching stop, you learn a lot about yourself. Kenny Payne is going to be a better assistant having had the experience that he had at Louisville. I know that might sound crazy, but there is a reason why he had multiple NBA opportunities before he ultimately opted to rejoin Cal. And I think his development with Arkansas's big men is going to loom very, very large. I can't wait to see what he can do with Jonas Adu and Big Z and even Trevin Brazile. I think it was a very solid and a very necessary addition to the staff. So that one I'm bullish on. I really like it. I'm also anxious to see how a Tyler Ulis does if they ever announce him on the staff there. I mean, we're talking about just a super young, energetic guy who's relatable with the players, young enough to get out there and mix it up with them, work out with them. He showed just a ton of fire and passion. He was the La Familia coach, Kentucky's TBT team over the summer. And that was a lot of fun to watch. And also shout out to Cal for going out and checking out one of those games and dapping it up with his former players there. That was cool. But I'm very intrigued by Tyler Ulis and what he can bring to the table behind the scenes. You know, from a recruiting standpoint, Cal is Cal, man. And Muss was kind of the same way. Now, don't get me wrong. Those other guys absolutely grinded on the recruiting trail. They were relentless in the transfer portal, calling guys, whatever. It didn't matter. They worked incredibly hard. But Muss was also kind of the madman who would go there and finish things. Ruda, you know, putting together the schedule and stuff. People don't understand how difficult that is. I had to do that coaching NAIA basketball, and that was a chore, man. It's tough to put together a solid and balanced schedule. Cal, recruiting-wise, yeah, absolutely. He's going to have his guys out there working, but we know that his brand sells itself. He's one of the best recruiters in college basketball history. Scheduling and stuff, people are calling Cal to schedule games. How many times did he say it earlier in the summer? Oh, yeah, ESPN this, CBS that. They want us to play here. They want us to play there. Some of that stuff kind of takes care of itself. So who will challenge Cal, you know, when there's a decision to be made, or maybe he's making the wrong one, and he can certainly do that. I wonder if they have that guy. I wonder from a game planning, opponent scouting standpoint, how strong they're going to be there. And I also wonder how they're going to handle not having Welch around when it comes to how they build the offense for this roster that is in ways built to play kind of how Kentucky played last year. I think they're going to be better defensively. I'm talking about from an offensive standpoint. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, and time will tell. So I answered that question about the best that I could with the limited sample size that we have, but I think it is a valid one. There's interesting parallels, and we'll see how it all plays out. But I do appreciate the question as always. And again, keep them coming, folks. We're trying to have one a day up until the start of the college basketball season. We've been doing this for, I don't know, like 3 weeks now, and we still got a ton to get to. And they're going to be out every morning at 8 a.m. So make sure you get subscribed to our YouTube page, Inside Arkansas, and we'll be back with you again tomorrow. This has been Curtis Wilkerson with the Pot at the Palace. We'll see you next time.